Habari Gani. What's the news today? Kuumba. Good morning. I'm Dr. Fleming, and today's principle is Kuumba, or creativity. And we're at the second from the last day of our KWANZAA celebration. And creativity, or Kuumba, means to always do as much as we can in the way that we can in order to leave our communities more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited. Creativity, excuse me, want to cut in on my program. Creativity, first I want to give you a definition of creativity. And creativity is defined in the dictionary, ironically, as the use of imagination or original idea. It was Albert Einstein who said that imagination is more important than knowledge. However, I would put it that imagination is the feminine aspect of the principle of knowledge. And we find that gender is in all things, but creativity is the use of imagination. And it is the result of the combined male-female principle. Now, in case you've never heard of the principle of male-female or the principle of gender, let me read it to you from ancient African philosophy. The seventh principle is the principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. The principle of gender works ever in the direction of generation, regeneration, and creation. So the principle of gender is what is being used under the Kuumba KWANZAA principle. So you have to combine both male and female principles or genders in order to generate a creative thought. And there's more on that, and I will get to that on our other programs because I am working on that kind of stuff. So then let me define community. A group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common, i.e., the scientific community. I'm part of the scientific community, or the Black community, or even a body of nations such as the African community. The first part of the word community is the word commune. And commune means to talk, to agree, to operate as one. When you commune, you are in agreement. You are in operating at the most efficient levels. When you operate as one, you are at peace. It was Dr. Naeem Akbar who wrote in his book, The Community of Self, that when your thoughts agree with each other, you are at peace. So in order to function as a community, a Black community, we must first function as a community of the self, to get our thoughts in harmony with one another, to get our thoughts agreeing with one another so that we will be at peace. And then as a result of our individual peace, we will always carry peace into our communities. And then by extension, we will carry peace around the planet and in the universe. And when you operate under the principle of creativity and peace, you function using higher order thinking. And that higher order thinking is how one goes about creating on a higher level rather than at the base levels of making. So how or when or what will you use your imagination to create today? Maybe you can take a walk in a different direction today, or drive to work if you have to work drive a different direction so that you can stimulate more creative juices in yourself and begin to get those juices running and getting that mind communicating with itself more efficiently. Do you know that if your thinking is compartmentalized or in separate pieces, if you think in terms of separation, you will discover that one part of your mind does not communicate with the other part. And that's how the egos are able to function, because they see things in separateness. But when you are at peace, it means that your thinking has united. You have come to an agreement in your mind and between your thoughts, and you are at peace. You remove the ego from the equation, and you're able to use your higher order thinking. So perhaps you can use your imagination today to reconcile with a friend whom you may have had an argument with, or a family member who you are at odds with, or a former spouse that you separated in the sense of war, and now you're not necessarily coming back together, but at least bringing peace between you two, to where you are able to communicate for the benefit of yourselves, as well as the community, as well as the world. Imagine being at peace in your mind and your body. If you have an ailment, maybe it's because your thinking is cross-checking each other, and as a result of that, it's manifesting in your body. So consider the idea of using your imagination to get your thinking in order as a first step towards healing the body. Whatever it is, when you are better within, your community is better, and by extension, the world is better. Now I'm going to pour libations to honor those of our ancestors, those who have gone on into the ancestor realm. And today I'm going to honor some of the females who have been instrumental in my life and in my development. While I'm pouring libation and calling out the different names, you too can participate by simply calling out or thinking of the female in your life that was instrumental to you, and I'll pour the libation on behalf of your ancestor too. So here we go. Ruthie L. Coleman, Ashe. Josella Fleming, Ashe. Sylvia Holloway, Ashe. Zena Chambers, Ashe. So that concludes our ceremony for Kwanzaa this morning. Thank you again for joining me for 10 minutes of Kwanzaa, and I'll see you tomorrow when we will do the last principle.